Welcome to Secura Law Experience. I'm Luis Elizalde, founder of Secura Law. I'm here with
Stephanie de la Millar
and Eduardo Borgard.
Welcome to a new episode. This episode is going to be good because we are going to have a lot of hacks for a closing, and more about our experience that we already have with another closings, what you have to do and what you don't have to do for a closing.
Yes.
Do you want to
And
start?
some surprises,
Yeah. Could be.
information that can be helpful at some point. Maybe not in every closing works. It depends on the situation where you are.
Yeah, because I think what this episode will be about is the little things that you need to be aware that may come up based on our current experience. That is good to have a list on. Basically, let me start. For example, whenever you are dealing, if you're purchasing a resale property, it's very important that you as a buyer really fixate your mind and don't expect the seller to be able to provide the property 100% functional and basically brand new, because I think that's a misconception that could be targeted from the beginning, because later on.
But I think you are going, that's more work of the broker, right? It's something that the broker has to make understand the client, the buyer. Hey, you are getting a resale. Mm-hmm. The name say it. Resale.
It's not brand new.
Exactly.
And sometimes I've had the experience that whenever we have this kind of situation, whenever we have an inspection or something prior to the closing, little things start to come up and they act as deterrents to the buyer, because they start seeing the ugly in the property. And they want the seller to fix it and buy things brand new.
Like in 2 days,
exactly.
48 hours, so I don't close. No, but that could be a hack for the brokers or realtors. You know, that they have to be aware of that kind of thing. As soon as they show the house, they can have the inspection during the due diligence process. And, you know, it's something that you have to be aware before you close.
Entering.
Not you close. You sign
get the
promissory
accepted offer.
Oh, the promissory contract.
Yeah.
We are in that because you can like the house and the price, and after the inspection you find a little thing that you can add to the promissory contract. But I think it's hack for the realtor, that thing.
Yeah.
And our hack as an attorney is that all that kind of things has to be in the promissory contract, not
stated.
2 days, 1 day, 1 hour before the closing. It's something.
Definitely that has to be known by the parties, and basically for the buyer not to expect a warranty, because there's not such a thing. Because I've seen times where brokers don't tell this to the client and they create an expectation in which you have the closing and then you have the buyer saying, hey, the water's not running properly, like he has to answer as a warranty. You know, and that's something that's out of the picture when you have a resale.
For example, as a seller, something that you have to be very clear from the beginning is in the offer and in the promissory contract established as is. I'm selling the house, the property, the real estate as is.
But also, I would like to say that as a value, both parties have to be honest. Honesty is the key here. From the seller, from the real estate agent of the seller and of the buyer. As a real estate agent, a hack that I will say to our clients, you are in front of a professional real estate agent. If they disclose from the beginning, okay, this is not brand new, this is the list of things that need to be fixed or maybe will have to be replaced. We can sit down and negotiate with the seller's party, so we can establish what will be fixed, what will be not, what will be the adjustments regarding the purchase price, and based on that, sign the offer. That will be, in my experience, the best way to handle this. If you are in front of a really good real estate agent in a resale, they will disclose from the beginning what it's what is not wrong, but what can be improved in the property.
So at the end, I think this is more work from the real estate agent, right? I think that, of course, we can do a little bit
I
in the
think us
promissory
is also our
contract.
responsibility to, if they don't do it, take it out and show it to the people involved that has to be addressed.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, but how come?
To avoid any future misunderstandings.
So, for example,
You know?
it's just a question. If, for example, we received the offer, we saw that it's a resale, but we know that it's coming an inspection, and after the inspection, we never receive, hey, you need to fix this or that kind of things. It's something that we have to say to the realtor or to the buyer, hey, I remember that you did an inspection. Do we have to add something? It's something that you are saying?
Yeah, just to give them the heads up that if something comes up before signing the promissory contract, we need to establish everything there. So if there's any petition or negotiation before that, they have to come up with an agreement, and that agreement has to be transcribed basically into a clause into the contract and a possible annex as an inventory or some checklist that needs to be handled at the closing.
So checklist
Mm-hmm.
for the
Inventory.
promissory contract.
Exactly.
In a resale.
In
a
a
resale.
That
Next.
could be a really, really good one. The next one, I think, something that I was telling you before the beginning of the episode, it was the exchange rate. Something
Okay.
that is making a lot of noise right now because of the exchange rate that we used to have 2 weeks ago. Now
16, no? Something like that?
16 to 18 right now.
In-
It's changing a lot.
In a 2-week span.
Yeah, it's coming crazy. And something that, for example, in the experience that we are having right now is that some buyers are worried about the acquisition tax, ISABI, to pay the 3% because they're thinking, okay, we paid 2 weeks ago, if we pay the acquisition tax, it will be with 16 pesos per dollar. Now we have to pay per 18.5. So they are losing money or they are thinking losing money. But something that I think it's good to explain is that if they pay dollars, at the end it's 3%. So they not have to worry about that. They don't have to change that in pesos. Of course, the notary, when they receive that, they're gonna change in pesos, but it's more responsibility of the notary, not of the buyer. So
Yes, it will be less pesos or more pesos depending on the exchange rate, but at the end it's the same dollars. Same
Exactly.
dollars. It have the same value. The only value that changes is the pesos. But exactly, if you pay in US dollars, you
It's
won't have any
3%.
problem.
yeah. So something, the hack is be sure that the notary public is gonna accept dollars and it's not gonna make you a surprise after that, sorry, because my banking, no. A really good notary is gonna say, okay, I gave you a quote that is 3% of your transaction. You deposit that, perfect. And you don't have to worry about that. That's the hack, that you be sure that the notary public that you are working or the attorney that you're working, if they give you a quote, that quote is the one that is going to prevail. What?
If I may add something, then it will also be a hack or a good advice to surround yourself with professionals.
Yeah, exactly.
With expertise on foreigners.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the notary doesn't have a clue of how they will get the US dollars.
Yeah, because they are also working every day with Mexicans and just with the Mexican peso. And when you give them a transaction with foreigners and a foreign currency, that's when
They
They
get
get
super
crazy.
confused. Like, oh, but
yeah, because
making math.
sometimes they don't even have an account to take dollars, and that's the issue, because when you send them the dollars, they end up being pesos, and
Yes.
that's where they are going to. Obviously, they don't want to put money out of their pocket, so they'll try to get.
Do
it
you
from
think it's bad to have dollars? Transaction in dollars?
Nah,
Of course, it's not.
Of course not.
nah.
Because we are involved of this. We are surrounded of all of this real estate transaction and we're living of that. But from a general point of view, do you think everything has to be in pesos?
By law, it is, they make the exchange, but since we're an international market, we have to open ourselves to it.
Yeah.
I mean, we cannot close that window to the foreigners just because we want to do it in pesos. I mean,
But even though the taxes, I mean, you think that it should be deleted the part where they have to state the amount in pesos that corresponds to the value? I mean, that is an interesting topic, actually. I'm right now thinking to state the amount in US dollars and to pay to the government. And
In
they
dollars?
open that channel to pay in US dollars, and they will have also US dollars because exactly it's an international
No,
market.
but I think it's not possible that.
No,
For
legally
that to
speaking,
happen,
it's not possible, but
What
you
will
know,
happen?
uh-huh.
for
Okay.
that to happen, the law would have to change and make the American dollar
Like a
legal currency.
Yeah. No,
In
but
Mexico.
I totally understand the
Yeah.
question.
I
that
mean, if
what-
Bukele did all the market, all
With
the
with the
Bukele.
crypto.
we are talking to you, but I mean, it's interesting because he made the crossover to have all
Both.
the. Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, the wheels are turning now in the global economy. And I think most countries, if they want to stay updated, they need to start changing and moving towards that path to accept different foreign currencies as legal currencies in their own country to incentivize foreign investment, right? That's the end goal in Central and South
Okay,
America.
Eduardo for president.
that
The speech.
but that could be like one option that
It's bizarre.
I think we're talking about that like a very
Yeah,
superficial, but could be a good topic, for another episode, but with more
That?
investigation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, a little
Totally.
bit.
Definitely.
But okay, but
Next.
No, but the hack
in
was that
summary.
look for the notary and surround you with professionals, real estate professionals. Listen, real estate professionals, because attorney, there is a lot of attorneys, and as like in US and Canada, you need a specialist real estate attorney. That could be the really big hack that you need. What else? What other thing that we have? Power of attorneys.
Power of attorney.
A trick up your sleeve, right? I think, in my personal opinion, it doesn't hurt anyone to have a power of attorney, even if you don't need it.
Okay. Got
Right?
it.
You know what I mean? Like, even if you're gonna come down to your closing, and you, at some point, we never know what could happen, and sometimes people can't travel for any amount of reason, climate, health, whatever, and that delays and complicate closings. So
Yeah,
if
totally.
you have a power of attorney, just in case, it will be much easier. That's actually what we encourage our clients. Most of our clients, we tell them if they need to go back and forth,
Mhm.
just best leave a power of attorney with your broker and or with us.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally
Yes.
agree. Because you never know.
I mean, $200,
Yeah.
it's not that much, and it could save you a lot of trouble, especially if you then have to travel down on a quick notice. Then it will be much more expensive to pay the traveling accommodations and the flying tickets to get you down
Yes.
here than just paying the $200 for the power of attorney.
Yeah.
That's right.
But sometimes that has to come with the trust, right? Not trust fideicomisos, the
Mhm.
trust with the
With
person that
the-
you are living or you're granted the power of attorney. That depends more on that.
Yes.
Because at the end, to say it true, it's very easy, the power of attorney. You can limit or be a special power of attorney in which establish that it's only acquisition on behalf of you, and that's it. It's very, very simple. But sometimes that happened to me just recently, or like 3 weeks ago, that they were saying, hey, give me prepare a power of attorney. And when they receive our kind of power of attorney, like 4 pages with all the clauses and everything, that is really good. They say, hey, no. In my country, it's only 1 page. And
This is not what I had in mind, right?
yeah, and when they saw a lot of things, they, no, you are doing something wrong. I said, no, you
There
can
is
translate
something
it.
tricky here.
It's something funny, something tricky, and it's not true. It's, in fact, as I said, the Mexican law works really good because you have everything in writing. You will see everything, every corner covered. That's something really, really good. And okay, could be very specific 4 pages in a power attorney, but it's to protect the person that is granting the power attorney.
Actually, yeah.
So don't be afraid of that kind of power attorneys. It's something that is gonna help, as Eduardo said. Sometimes could be for save money, for save time,
Yes. And if you grant it to your attorney, he has a professional responsibility regarding the acting of that power of attorney. So it will be the best idea if you are granting a power of attorney to grant it to your attorney.
To an attorney, because the obligation that we have is our big responsibility, but not only that. It could be, if we don't use correctly that, we can lose our license and could be a felony. So yeah, you're right. Could be really good to provide. Brokers, thank you. No, but yeah, the responsibility or the obligation that we have as an attorney is bigger to have a
Yes.
power attorney.
Because
Right.
we are officially representing you,
Yeah.
advising you legally and representing you legally. So that enforces our responsibility as attorneys.
And if we inform you that it's only to acquire the property, and at that moment the power attorney is not valid anymore after we sign, that has to happen. That's the thing that is gonna happen. So yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Sometimes we make that, or we think that because we're attorneys, it's like,
Yeah,
it's
no
normal.
big deal.
It's very
Uh-huh.
very clear for us because you are an attorney, that kind of. But it's something that we have to say to our client, that they have to understand that. Right.
Yeah.
Good one.
We take the powers of attorney seriously.
Yeah, totally. What else? Another hack.
I will say about capital gain taxes. To be prepared. I mean, if you are going to list your property to put it out in the market, it will be good to, at the same time or even before that, start your residency. And after that, get your tax ID and a proof of address after that with your name on it and your tax ID on it. It's very important that you are aware that it has to be the electricity bill, bank account statement, or departmental store.
Departmental store?
Yes,
Mall?
like
like Liverpool,
Liverpool.
Sears. I don't know how they say it in English. How do you say
Sears.
it? Sears.
Sears.
Okay. Sears. Okay.
Sure.
That kind of credit card statement is valid also for a proof of address, and that's good. That's good one. But you have to know that you can exempt taxes, but there is a limit. If you have a house of $1 million, don't expect to exempt all the taxes, because sometimes the realtors or the brokers say to the client, no worries, you're not gonna pay taxes, and as soon as they arrive to us, hey, this is amount of, hey, but they told me I'm not gonna pay. No, but
Yeah,
it's not
of
my
course.
fault,
Definitely.
Yeah, good hack. Be
Yes.
prepared for the capital gain taxes.
Yes, and know that to prove that it's your primary residency in Mexico, you have these options. Because sometimes there is limited only to electricity bill. It's only electricity bill, and if you don't have that, well, we have to wait 2 months because the bill comes every 2 months. But you can know that if you are in the possibility, open a bank account here so you can have a bank statement, and that will be useful. And Telmex. Telmex is another one that is valid.
You're right. But in Telmex also has to be the tax ID. In the bank account,
It also has to be the tax ID.
yes and no, because they don't open the bank account if you don't have tax ID. But in the bank statement, sometimes, I'm not saying always, or I'm not saying, but sometimes there is there is no tax ID, and the notary is accepted.
Okay, good.
Because to open the bank account is logic that you have
Your tax ID. Okay,
so
of
that's the
course.
reason. Also,
Yes.
like with Liverpool or Sears card, I just have one that they approve the exemption of taxes and it's not tax ID on it. Because the same idea.
Yeah,
You
that's
cannot
right.
open or you can have it if you don't have tax ID. So.
Yes, you are right. In the
So-
statement of I have my own Liverpool account and doesn't come my tax ID.
But they accept it as proof of address. The proof of address has to be of the address of the home or the house that you are selling. Of course. That's good. That's good. What else? Penalties. Penalties. You have to be aware of the penalties. Sometimes, as a buyer or a seller, you say, no, I don't want penalties higher than 10%. That could be a problem. Why? Because if you are a the seller, and you say 10%, and suddenly the buyer say, okay, I accept 10%. But suddenly, during the process, you receive another offer, 20% higher.
You have a 10% difference either
Exactly.
way, so you just might as well.
Yeah, so you cancel one with the difference, you pay the penalty, and you get, but a penalty of 20%, find a house or a resale during the process higher than 20%, or find a buyer higher than 20% is really hard. That's the reason we use like normal, the 20%. Between parties, if you have to have a smaller penalty, it's your decision, but our recommendation, advice is 20%.
Yes.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a negotiation that has to be agreed by both parties, having their own interest and their own whys they want to do that. But accept a word of advice. It's better to put it higher, to don't invite the other party to make that termination or cancellation to get another property. You just lock it in.
Exactly.
And the more difficult it is to get out, the better.
Yeah. Not because it has to be difficult to get out, but it's already a compromise, a
You make
commitment
them
that you
think about
already
it
made.
more
Yeah,
deeply.
exactly,
That's the thing.
exactly. That the idea. Something that it was weird for me that I already hear from some past clients saying, hey, I already did transaction around the world and it's the first time with a penalty on a contract. Really? Do you
I
think
don't
that
believe that. It's impossible that
Exactly.
the rest of the world
they don't use penalties?
they are negligent in their contracts,
Yeah.
and we are just the only country.
As soon as I hear that, it's something funny there.
If that were true, we would be
The best country
The best
to do
country.
business.
ruling the world, basically, and it's not that's not the case.
Of course, we are the best country.
Yet.
But
Right?
With the best penalties.
Yep.
what else? What else? We have penalties. We have exchange rate. We have power attorneys.
Capital gains.
Capital gains. Immigration. We are trying to cover all kind of things. That's good.
Yes.
I think something good to have in mind is the closing timeline. Something that you have to have in mind is that timing here, since it's a different legal system, is different, and you need to expect something different, because people come down here and trying to wrap things up in a week.
But not make sense.
It's unrealistic.
But
So-
not even in another countries. They will say in United States or in America, in Canada, in Germany, whatever. They can say, I can close in one day.
I've seen clients say that.
Yeah, but I don't understand why.
And something that we need to change your mind into is that.
But
it
that doesn't
takes
happen
time here.
That is in that doesn't happen in other countries. America or United States, that doesn't happen like that. There is no way to close in one day. No way. And to hear that I can close in 1 week in Chicago, not really. We are aware of the situations.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the kind of thing that we really give a really good service, a really good customer service, and the timing that we have is we always try to get the closing, because I remember when I started this, and not secular law, when I started as an attorney in a real estate transaction, like the timeline, the minimum was 90 days. We are working with 45 days and less.
We've cut it down in half.
Yeah, we are looking for that, and we are always trying to provide that to the client, but sometimes not possible. The seller or the buyer.
Depending on the transaction.
Yeah,
It has a lot to do with that.
yeah, and how they are. A smooth closing hack could be your attitude. Attitude.
Attitude.
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
That's 100% of it.
Yeah, because if you are too stressed, that I understand the idea. You are investing in a foreign country that is not your country, not your language, not your not your
Exchange rate.
your currency.
Your
you
currency.
know, all that kind of thing. I totally understand. But the other reason you are looking to hire
surround yourself,
professionals
with professionals.
to get peace of mind.
Yes.
And as soon as you have that, please keep it, because it's something that is weird, but all the experience that we have, more stressed you are, more difficult and problems came in the closing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not to be like easygoing. Of course, if there is a wall that is broken, okay, you are gonna fix it, that kind of little things. But at the end, that depends more also in the attitude.
Yes, and to rely again, if you hire a professional, rely on the professional that you are hiring. And that will be another hack that I will say. If you are engaging some legal services, I will say that make sure that you have an agreement with them, signed, something that covers you up, and make sure that they have an obligation with you. So if you are, again, in front of professional attorneys, they will show you some commitment established in some agreement that you can have handy in case that something happens. You know what is the scope of the services that you are hiring.
And the responsibility of the attorney that you are hiring. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, because sometimes I'm hiring you. Oh, perfect. Give me that amount, but you never show what is the service. Yeah,
Yes.
totally agree.
And I have seen some attorneys that leave the work in the middle, like, okay.
Say the names. Nah.
Sure?
No.
I have the list. So, yes, sometimes they say, okay, you are buying in a pre-sale. Okay, we will sign the promissory contract and that's it. If they never communicate this, maybe you will have the wrong idea that they will be with you at the very end, and that doesn't happen, and you will feel disappointed. So
And they charge you more money.
Surprise!
Also-
Yeah, the classic
you
surprise.
want more? Okay. No?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, or for example, if you want to grant them the responsibility to legally represent you by a power of attorney, they will charge more. So be aware of that. Ask the questions. What your services include. Your services as attorney. Of course that they will disclose, or all of us, I think, in the general market, try to disclose every expense that you have. But at the very end, it says that, okay, the notary is charging you X amount for his services. What are that services? What exactly covers? I mean, at the end, you are buying a service that includes a kind of safety. So you have to be aware of what is the safety that your attorney is offering to you.
Totally. That's perfect. That's a really good hack to have exactly in writing what is the service of the attorney that is gonna look for in the closing. So I think it was a really good episode with a lot of little hacks.
Condensed information.
Yeah, exactly. I think it
very
was.
detailed and straightforward information that will make the world difference if you follow them.
Yeah,
Yes.
totally.
We just made the world better.
Exactly. Yeah, totally perfect.
It was hard.
Yeah.
I'm
I
exhausted.
So thank you for another episode in memory of Chimuelo,
Chimuelo.
and have an amazing day. Bye.
Guys.